Does anyone want to pass to say the inward? Potter, do you know what the inward is?
Just a reminder that any profits made from the new Harry Potter show is going to be used to fund anti-trans organizations.
Looked in the online, and there were photographs of Nick Frost as Hagrid, along with the new Harry Potter. And I'm thinking, and he's wearing the exact same costume that we designed for Hagrid. Part of me was like, what's the point?
Why do they keep doing this? Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. To answer the question that may or may not have popped into your head upon reading the title of this video, no, I am not clairvoyant, but I might as well be at this stage. So no, I cannot foresee the future, but I am a millennial who has lived through this weird era of remakes and reboots and whatnot, so I am, shall we say, quite good at pattern recognition. Which leads me to firmly believe that the upcoming 2026 Harry Potter reboot is not going to be as terrific as I'm sure HBO is hoping. Sorry to be the bearer of bad tidings. This is not related at all to this subject matter, but I want to tell you guys, I am really tired and therefore hanging by a proverbial thread, so if I don't show up as much this way in this video and it's mostly just voiceover, please forgive me. If you're new here, this is what I look like. And I'm usually in the videos more. I am so tired and I don't feel like being on camera. Anyway, if you have been following the news at all, which I'm sure the majority of you have, in late March we were finally given a trailer for the new Harry Potter show, giving us a little snippet into what is to come. If she hasn't been attacked with a copyright claim, Editing Sydney will have left in the trailer here for you to watch, but if we have been attacked, then she probably will have added a bunch of stills instead, which are less interesting, but that's the way it is. Either way, the trailer gave us a good look at young Harry Potter living in his little cupboard there under the stairs, being abused by Aunt Petunia. It shows Hagrid being Hagrid. We get a good look at Ron and Hermione interacting with Harry, and importantly, we get a small look at our boy Black Snape. He shows up only briefly though, illuminating a hallway with his wand. HBO also seems to have dropped a handful of images of the cast as well. Again, you have Harry pushing a little cart at the train station, Dumbledore doing whatever he's doing here, and again we have Snape standing in a forest against a snowy backdrop. Now, because I am slightly late to the commentary on this topic, I am sure that all of you by now have seen someone somewhere complaining about how absurd this looks. And I know that probably will upset some people to hear, but there is just so much wrong with depicting Snape this way. But what I find so funny about this situation is how it's upset both sides of the aisle pretty equally, but for completely different reasons. And I think that in large part has kind of set the stage for what's going to happen to this reboot when it's released. I don't have high expectations. I do have extremely high expectations though when it comes to fighting data brokers on the internet, which is why it's so important that you hear about the sponsor of today's video, Incogni. Because if you Google yourself, you will cry with how much is public. Identity theft. I get it. That sounds like a thing that happens to other people. But unfortunately, bucko, it can absolutely happen to you. As our world gets more technologically advanced, the scammers get more technologically advanced as well. And given the fact that right now your private information is publicly available on hundreds of data broker websites, things are not looking so good. I am serious. Google yourself. You will be horrified with how much information is out there. Not to mention, websites are being hacked every day and your personal details compromised. So even when you think you're safe, you're probably not. In case you didn't know, this is something that I care about very deeply and very strongly, and honestly, so should you. And that's why I'm so glad to be sponsored by Incogni. Incogni helps remove your information from all these data broker sites without actually having to do the legwork. They find and delete your information from hundreds of websites that store and sell everything about you and your online habits. All you have to do is make an account, give Incogni the right to work for you, and then they go ahead and issue takedown notices. Look, for me, they've saved me thousands of hours of doing this myself, and they've removed over 1,000 entries, and they're still going. They even recently introduced the custom removals process where you can submit links to Incogni for them to delete on your behalf as well, file, just in case you come across something that needs to be taken down ASAP. And if you're at all concerned about Incogni's data removal process being legit, just know that it's been independently verified by Deloitte. So listen kids, I know that it's creepy that people want to buy your information so that they can scam you and spam you and pretend to be you and steal your identity. But if you click the link in the description or go to incogni.com/Sydney, you can get on board with Incogni today and stop this from happening. So use code Sydney for 60% off an annual plan. You will feel better when you know your information's not out there publicly. In my initial video that I made about Black Snape a while back, I went into a lot of detail about why it is an enormous coup to suggest that Snape could be anything other than a pasty white boy, and if you're interested in that explanation, I will link that video in the description. But to quickly recap, J.K. Rowling has a tendency to change canon whenever it suits her. Dumbledore is now gay, for example, which I am actually positive is going to show up in this reboot. Rowling likes to claim that she left her characters ethnically ambiguous, but this doesn't really fly when you look at her character drawings over the years. Snape is depicted the same way every time. He's also repeatedly described in the books as some variation of white, whether it's pale or pallid or being the color of milk or having a sallow complexion. You get the picture. Also, when J.K. Rowling wanted to specify that a character was something other than white, she'd be pretty damn explicit about that, either telling you that they were black or Indian or giving them names like Cho Chang.
That is the second time you've spoken out of turn, Miss Granger. Are you incapable of restraining yourself, or do you take pride in being an insufferable know-it-all?
Point being, Snape is described very specifically with his skin color more or less referenced, despite everybody trying to argue otherwise. You are wrong. Accept it. Anyway, unsurprisingly, these new depictions of Snape quite clearly sent the internet into a tailspin, leading to a bunch of these mockery videos being made.
Listen up, motherfuckers. This right here, this the one. Dropping this motherfucking fried chicken in. Now watch. This, the motherfucking potion that creates infinite watermelon.
Potions is good for everything. Potions get them galleons. Potions get super fine hoes.
You need to put a fool on ice? Potion's gonna do that too. Hold up. Is that Harry Potter?
People again pointed out how silly some plot lines are going to look now, such as having James Potter bullying Snape as a child, having Harry be automatically skeptical of him. Apparently all the rage around this has also led to Papa Asiadu, the actor who is set to play Snape, being sent death threats for his role. Which, you know, like, I mean, I still get death threats for saying that men can't be women. It is the internet after all. And some people have low impulse control, what can I say? This also might sort of be an unpopular opinion, I'm sure you guys will let me know, but yes, of course, sending death threats, receiving death threats, not okay, not acceptable, I don't condone that. But I am not super sure what Papa Asiadu, the actor playing Snape, was expecting in this case. He accepted a role for a character that he's not suited for, that he's wholly ill-suited for. People were obviously going to have strong feelings about that. Again, it's not okay. I'm not saying it's okay, but I'm also not sure what he was expecting. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm only a humble tea saleswoman who's been around the internet and seen the same thing happen a million times. Speaking of tea, if you haven't already, you should go check out my tea website, lionsteaexchange.com. I will link it in the description box. I have a bunch of terrific flavors, and hey, guess what? My flavor raspberry elderflower rosé is back in stock, and everybody seems to like that one, so go get yourself a box. Do it now. Go, link in the description. Anyway, importantly, a bunch of people, me included, are feeling really quite disappointed with all of this and have either decided that they won't be watching or they have realized that this is probably going to suck. And we'll come back to that point. That's the pattern recognition thing that I was talking about earlier. At the same time, progressives all over the shop have avowed that they will not be watching this reboot either. The outlet The Verge even published this fun article headlined, "There is no ethical consumption of HBO's Harry Potter series." This piece explains that as much as fans might be excited about this new show, there's no way to watch this show without supporting Rowling's bigotry and the structural violence she's inflicting on a vulnerable minority. that minority being trans people. It also outlines the ways that J.K. Rowling is apparently a horrible transphobe and explains that every penny she makes will be used towards more transphobia. Really what they're describing here is her supporting women's rights. More specifically, those of us who have magical pollen patches? Maybe? No? Is that? Maybe that's not the euphemism. To be honest with you all, Rowling's support for women's rights has always been mislabeled as transphobia, and it's so out of control how many people say she hates trans people, but no one can actually point to anything that she said that was actually hateful. A couple years ago, a Huffington Post journalist once combed through everything Rowling had ever said on the matter of transgenderism and couldn't find a single instance where she actually expressed hatred for trans people. Yeah, so by the way, Mr. Asiadu, you want to hear about someone who's gotten real death threats? Yeah, well, there's like literal music videos from trans people talking about unaliving J.K. Rowling, so you know, do with that what you will. Anyway, I have seen this claim about Harry Potter sales funding transphobia come up over and over and over again in leftist circles online. This video is from 2024, where the claim is just being made generally.
I mean, the reality is, like, you shouldn't, because the idea of, like, every time you view that, she's getting a penny, and then that penny's going to fund anti-trans legislation in the UK.
Here is another video from 2025 after the new show was announced.
Just a reminder that any profits made from the new Harry Potter show is going to be used to fund anti-trans organizations.
And here are a bunch of these videos from the last few days. They are really something.
People don't want you to boycott the new Harry Potter show because they're snowflakes who can't handle the fact that J.K. Rowling is a transphobe. They want you to boycott it because watching it directly harms trans people financially.
The only reason that this is happening is because J.K. Rowling is so pissed off that Rupert and Emma and Daniel will not agree with her transphobia. She wants to punish them, and she had to replace them with more compliant children.
I didn't know you could read.
Anyway, so you might be wondering at this juncture why I am telling you this. And I'm trying to get to the point, Simon, but you rush me. I think that this reboot is more or less dead in the water. And if it's not dead in the water, then it's going to grossly underperform for a bunch of reasons. It has upset OG fans who will never see Snape as anyone other than Alan Rickman, or an Alan Rickman-shaped person, like Adam Driver, for example. It has also pissed off leftists because they absolutely hate J.K. Rowling and have been attacking Harry Potter for years as a result. And so it sort of leaves the show in a bit of a weird limbo. I really think if the casting directors had just gone ahead and cast an appropriate looking Snape, normal people and normal fans would be either ambivalent towards this or excited about the show and would be coming to its defense. But instead, it has absolutely set the stage for what we can expect going forward. Harry Potter was something that millennials grew up with. We grew up reading it, we grew up enjoying it, and so when the films were announced in the early days, back when we were young, it was exciting to see this world that we all knew and loved come to life. That is not the case for this younger generation, and they have no emotional attachment to this franchise. Just because they might like it at a glance doesn't mean that they are invested in the same way that we were. I saw earlier someone say that HBO knew that they were going to do some shifty things, which is why they threw the nostalgia viewers a bone, saying that this show would be book faithful. But because we all have eyeballs, we can already see that this isn't the case. At all. And don't misunderstand me, I'm not saying that the original movies were by any means perfect. They weren't. They left out key characters, they rewrote Hermione's entire personality basically, and made her a bit of a Mary Sue. Professor McGonagall got absolutely neutered, especially in the 5th movie, where she should have been handing Dolores Umbridge a whole buffet of L's. I can't be the only person who hated Dolores Umbridge more than Voldemort. A Dark Lord bent on murder and power, that I can handle, but malicious bureaucracy? Ugh. They also really unfairly made Ron a lot dumber in the movies than in the books. The frickin' mudbloods. But I can almost guarantee that this show will be full of the same unnecessary leftism that we have come to know and love in other resurrected franchises. Except I think in this case it'll be a lot more subversive and a lot less on the nose, but it'll still be there nonetheless. And this is what I meant earlier when I was talking about pattern recognition. I don't think that this show is going to suck because I'm some angry naysayer who just wants to see everything fail. I mean, in this case, I kind of want it to fail because I want them to finally learn the lesson to make something new and to stop race swapping everyone. I say it because we have seen this exact situation play out over and over and over again. A franchise that we know and love and adore and know quite intimately gets a reboot, and then it immediately gets the modern treatment. I mean, if we're being real, a bunch of videos that I've made recently have been about this exact issue, and it looks like Harry Potter is the next one on the chopping block. Not to mention, and I